Happy Tuesday, and welcome to the Ram Ashram Satsang practice session, where you'll learn a modern Satsang method for obtaining peace, light, and love in your life. My name is Eddie, and I'll be introducing the facilitator for today's event. But first, I'd like to give you a brief overview of this Satsang session. If you direct your attention towards your screen, you'll see the first element is Satsang. Satsang is a scientific method whereby we may obtain peace, light, and love in our life. It requires no physical skill, spiritual accomplishment, or meditation experience to begin its practice. Satsang consists of two words, Sat and Sang. Sat means positive energy, and Sang means to be with or to be in the presence of. Therefore, the word Satsang means to be in the presence of positive energy. The next element is meditation. Meditation is an important part of Satsang. When we meditate, we withdraw consciousness from worldly objects and direct it inwards to focus on a single thought. In doing so, our minds become calm and our thoughts become pure, thereby allowing us to obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. Inner orientation. There are two types of Satsang, inner Satsang and outer Satsang. An example of outer Satsang would be chanting or attending pilgrimages. When we practice outer Satsang, we have the potential to change our behavior, but only through the practice of inner Satsang can we obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. The Satsang that you will learn today is an inner Satsang where we meditate in silence. Group session. These practice sessions are structured for group participation. When we meditate as a group, our focus is improved and our personal progress along our spiritual path is expedited. By regularly attending these practice sessions, the benefits of group participation are amplified. Joy and inner happiness. All beings wish to experience joy. Joy is the eternal longing of the soul, but only through the practice of inner Satsang can we obtain a joyous state. Each time we practice Satsang, our inner happiness gradually increases, ultimately culminating in a state of joy which we experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The agenda for today consists of 3 sessions: the informative session, the practice session, and the interactive session. During the informative session, a lecture will be given about a Satsang topic, the founder, or some relevant spiritual topic. During the practice session, you'll receive instructions on how to meditate, followed by a period of practice. During the interactive session, you have the opportunity to ask questions, or there'll be a panel discussion. And now, I'd like to introduce the facilitator for today's event. He has over 40 years of Satsang experience. He's the grandson of Guru Maharaj, the founder of Ram Ashram Satsang. He was born into a Satsang family where he experienced his family members obtain states of enlightenment and lead lives of peace, light, and love. At an early age, he began traveling with the mission throughout India, facilitating satsangs. And during that time, he witnessed the positive effects that satsang could have on mankind. And upon arriving to the United States, both he and his wife continued to facilitate satsangs for local satsangees. He has led teams of satsang members in translating important satsang literature into English and has worked tirelessly to make satsang more accessible to Western and English-speaking audiences. He currently travels throughout the United States, India, and England, facilitating satsangs while maintaining his duties as a husband, a father, and an IT executive. Today, he will teach us a rare and ancient form of satsang as taught by Guru Maharaj. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjeev Kumarji.
So happy Tuesday, everyone. I'm glad that we are here in Satsang. So today, I actually wanted to just go over this article by Dr. T. Silva, The Healing Power of Divine Light. So this came in to my feed and I forwarded it, but I still think that, you know, we talk about how satsang came down from the Sufi heritage, and the way it was introduced to the other Guru Maharaj's Guru, that this came from the Hindus, and it needs to go back there because it's not as prevalent. But if you really look at it, I think while this is not as mainstream as it can be, should be, ought to be, what's interesting is like Reiki has also become quite popular, but it is a variation because it is energy healing. So another interesting variation from Japan is Jorei. Jorei, I think, is a spiritual healing practice that this writer, Dr. T. Silva, who is a Vastu Shastra expert, basically the Indian Feng Shui. So at the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival in Melbourne, he had a session with a certified, practitioner who so my session with the certified practitioner involved channeling divine light to cleanse my spirit, mind, and body and guiding me on my spiritual journey. Jorei healers believe that divine light is Hikari in Japanese, can filter out spiritual impurities, which are seen as the root cause of physical ailments. According to them, this light is manifestation of the heavenly realm transmitted through the healer to the recipient. So during my brief session, the specialist raised his hand towards me, often focusing on my forehead and the upper body, acting as a conduit for this light he directed towards me to cleanse and heal. And he felt peaceful with a meditative connection, relaxed his body. So unlike many other healing practices, it does not involve physical contact or verbal communication. So that was interesting. So intuitively, the person who was facilitating the session knew where my energy blocks, aches, and pains were located in my body, working on them gracefully and in complete silence. Healing is believed to occur in a spiritual level and manifest in physical and overall well-being. By the end of the session, I experienced a profound sense of liberation, calmness, and centering effect. So some recipients feel a sense of peace, relaxation, and emotional release during and after session. The primary goal for Jorei is spiritual purification, which is believed to lead a harmonious balance of mind, body, and spirit. The process is thought to remove spiritual clouds or impurities that obstruct the flow of energy, resulting in a healthier and balanced life. Some people experience improvements in their emotional and mental state, including reduced stress, anxiety, and depression almost immediately. Jorei process is believed to clear negative energies and emotions, promoting mental clarity and emotional balance. Originated in Japan, so that's also interesting, in early 20th century, which seems like, so anyway, it must have come from one of these, transcendental light-based meditations, and is connected to the teachings of Mokichi Okada, also known as Meshu Sama. Mishu-sama, who established the practice as part of his broader spiritual and religious movement, the Church of World Missionity. So while divine light cannot be measured or validated scientifically, some scientific studies support the benefits of visualization, meditation, and energy practices. So that's also interesting that we probably need more scientific support, but then, by the time that happens, I think our lives would be, so we need to just go with what we get out of it. These practices can reduce stress, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it's so he really wrote some stuff which was well articulated in a way. In many religious traditions, divine light is often associated with enlightenment, grace, and holy presence. In Christianity, for instance, the light of God is seen as guiding and purifying force. Similarly, in Sufism, divine light is central to the experience of celestial love and knowledge. In Hinduism and Buddhism, the communication of spiritual energy, often visualized as light, is believed to purify the mind and spirit, leading to higher consciousness and spiritual awakening. The belief in transmitting divine light and its purifying effect is widely recognized across various spiritual and religious traditions. Many find it beneficial for their overall well-being. He starts with the concept of divine light's transmission and its purifying effects on our mind, body, and spirit. Is a universal belief deeply rooted in various religions, spiritual, and metaphysical traditions. Right, on that note, let's, so I think what we practice, it looks like somehow in both these Japanese practices, the physical manifestation, I think, took more center stage in my view than it should have, but because there are far more broader benefits that should be looked at. And I think as Guru Maharaj explained, is that if you go beyond the physical manifestations and even beyond the psychological and mental powers that you can accrue through this, if you continue the journey through those phases, that's when higher consciousness and higher awareness kind of becomes second nature. That's what is Sahaj Samadhi, and that's what is Razi Riza, which is basically being content and being completely comfortable with what is given and what is there. And at the same time, being even keel in ups and downs, all that comes through the strength that you get through satsang. So yeah, so let's practice. Eyes lightly closed, relaxed and still posture, and think of this divine light, or transcendental energy in form of light that's entering your heart, distributing throughout your body, and you're completely getting immersed in this light. When mind wanders away, bring it back to the same thought, that this transcendental energy, which is right here, right now, in form of light, is entering your heart, enlightening it, then distributing throughout your body and basically getting totally immersed in the light, becoming the light. We'll start with music, then music fades away. We go into deep silent meditation, and we transition out with music. Let's start. Hello, Eddie. Renuji, Omkar, Rajat.
Oh, Sanjeev ji.
So, yeah, it was very interesting to see, how I think Reiki, I somehow never really connect satsang with Reiki because it's kind of used very tactically in uh, rather than a long-term view. I don't, maybe I'm wrong. Is Eddie, did you look at Reiki ever at all?
No, I didn't. I did learn some uh, healing techniques with energy, but I never specifically studied Reiki.
Yeah. But it's interesting, how both, it seems like both of these are very recent in Japan. So, you know, must have descended from other traditions somehow.
Yes, I agree. I agree. The thing about Reiki and other types of healing through manipulation of someone else's energy, the question becomes is can it raise your state of consciousness
Yeah.
in the process of doing that? Because in a sense, you are Guru Maharaj and you talked about as well is that the necessity for us to preserve and maintain the transcendental energy that accumulates within us, so we can use that as part of increasing our consciousness. So if you're manipulating your energies to help other people, is that possible that you can achieve these high states of consciousness while doing that?
But everywhere, including in India, what has happened over time and in all practices is that the goal usually is to go to higher consciousness, but somehow it becomes more tuned towards, you know, physical ailments, even, you know, other situations, and those things when they become the focus, I think by the very nature of that, you give up some of the higher pursuits. So, if you are looking towards some uh, you know, outward results, so your inner orientation gets affected, I guess, you know, and hence the focus, instead of continuing to step upwards, you get more and more focused on the outer results. That's typically what, things that are bothering us or affecting us in a day to day take precedence, right? But that exactly is the reason why we cannot pursue the long term goals. Because at the end of the day, I think that Sahaj Samadhi state is where you utilize this energy to stay in higher realms rather than, uh, you know, but again, it's a very fine line. I mean, you have to stay healthy, you have to stay, comfortable, you have to continue to do what needs to be done on a day-to-day basis as well. All right. So how would you sum it up?
I just, when you were talking, I just reflected on the cleansing part, because we hear that in Ramashram Satsang a lot, right? It's this process of cleansing we have to go through to cleanse out the impurities that separate the different sheaths, and as we do that, we increase or raise our consciousness. And this idea of purifying or cleansing ourselves exists in many of the things that I know I personally studied. And here again, we see it in Reiki as well. We see the same terminology being used. And so I would just say that's obviously a part of spiritual practice, is that cleansing. And we probably share that in all of the different religions as well. So if we want to, make the most of what we do here at Ramashram Satsang, is not to accumulate. Once the Guru Maharaj is the person who really does the cleansing, and that's why I remember reading once he said that he basically takes on our burden. And that's kind of what attracted me to the system. So it's kind of a gift, it's kind of grace in a sense. But in order for us to really truly make use of that, we have to, in our lives, want to be better people as well, so we don't continue to accumulate these impurities. And part of that as well is not being around unsavory people, because as Guru Maharaj said, we become sort of like a magnet for their impurities, and now that's more work we have to do. But when we learn to live a pleasant life, just consciously, even if we're really not able to achieve it, but it just constantly consciously we learn to be or try to be better people and live a more peaceful life without anxiety and worry. And as you mentioned last week, with more compassion or love in our hearts for others, then we can increase the rate at which we achieve this higher states of consciousness, because of the cleansing that Guru Maharaj does for us. So, that's my takeaway today, is that it's a confirmation. What you said today about Reiki is really just a confirmation of our system, that it cleanses, and that's really an important part of this spiritual journey. And it's true in Reiki, and it's true in Sahaj Marg, which is what I practiced before, right? And true in a lot of other things too, where they talk about impurities around the heart that have to be cleansed. So it's just confirmation that we're in a great system for spiritual development. Again, Guru Maharaj does most of the work, so let's just practice being better people in life and make the most of it.
Yeah, so there are two systems. Reiki is one, which is, I think, more popular, and then there is this Jorei, which this person actually practiced when he was in Melbourne, Dr. T. Selva. Yeah, but very so both are different in many aspects, but both are related to energy healing, though. Yeah. Very, very similar to our approach on one hand, but then as you're mentioning, I think the approach Guru Maharaj took was he becomes the via media in so many more ways, and then advises us to achieve that higher goal, rather than get caught up in the lower realms, as you mentioned rightly. All right. On that note, we'll see you on the weekend.
Okay, thank you, Sanjeevji. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night. Good night, Omkar. Good night, Eddie. Namaskar, Renuji. Bye, Yuan.
Good night.